As a handbag hoarder, I mean enthusiast, I have acquired a lot of handbags throughout the years, and of course having this YouTube channel obviously doesn't help. I am consistently acquiring new bags, buying new bags, testing them out so that you don't have to, as I give you my honest reviews. It's getting a little bit out of hand, and some of the bags I haven't used at all just because there's only so many days of the week. I work from home. I try to make it a conscious decision to kind of rotate through them. But sometimes I am a creature of habit, and there are certain reasons why I gravitate towards certain bags over and over again, which I'm sure I've talked about in this channel. I might need to do an update of that. However, these are the handbags in two different categories. Two different categories where I have not used them whatsoever. The second category will be the handbags that I've only used once. Some of them might be showing up in the panic sale I will be releasing shortly. So definitely hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you are new here, I'm glad you stumbled across my headless video. I've done a bunch of recent Paris hauls if you want to go check that out, or if you're more interested in the luxury alternatives or the mid-range handbags, those are my two categories that I specialize in. For those of you who are returning, glad you're here. Let's have a conversation down in the comments below. So let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Start with this bag. And this is a Korean brand that is from W Concept, or at least it's available on W Concept. It's called Sartu. Beautiful bag. It's in this beautiful burgundy color, and it's a very like cutesy bag where it's kind of a sling, and you open it up, and it's kind of like a bucket bag. I've never used this bag. This was sent to me via PR, but this actually smells like leather. It does smell like leather. I don't know why I've never used this bag, because I feel like it's kind of a clutch, but it's also kind of I feel like it's kind of an in-between where it can be dressy or it can be casual. As much as I feel like it is a beautiful bag and it's very well constructed, it can't make up its mind of if it wants to be casual or if it wants to be more of a formal bag, right? The elegant design right here in the front feels very formal, but then once you make it into a clutch like this and you hold it like this, it just feels very casual. Maybe it's in my head, but because of that reason, I just never gravitated towards it. Gotta open it up and then open it up like this. It's just a couple extra steps that I don't feel like taking if I am in a casual setting, because usually I need to access whatever is inside very quickly, right? Now, if it's in a formal setting, that's not as much of an issue, but again, it sat there, I kind of forgot about it, and this, I will just tell you, it is going up in my vlog sale, brand new, never used before. The next bag is also from a W Concept PR campaign. And for those of you who are not familiar with W Concept, it is a rabbit hole that you can go down to treasure hunt. However, there's a lot of items that you might be a little bit questionable, and then there are a lot of gems that it's just like, how are you charging these prices? So I will link for you a playlist of W Concept if you're looking for gifts, if you're looking for something that is really cost effective and something that is really unique. Definitely go down that rabbit hole and I'll show you what I prefer. This one got sent to me. I think it was a mistake because this is totally not my style. The cargo style with tons of buckles, tons of pockets, I was like, yeah, maybe I could try it out. The busyness of it is just like, I don't know how to style it with again, I just don't feel comfortable. So hence I never gravitated to pick it up whatsoever. So this is definitely another bag that has just sat around. You know what? Let's go ahead and just do it as a giveaway. I literally decided this right now. Go ahead, drop a comment down below, say you would like to enter the giveaway. I'll keep it open for, let's just say 5 days. Just keep it simple. Hit that subscribe button and the like button, and let's just have fun. I'm gonna mail this out to you, and I will say this is only open to US just because I wanna keep this simple for me. Shipping international is just kind of a nightmare from what I hear as of right now. So US residents only, hit that enter, and saying I would like the giveaway, this bag. I'm gonna give it to one of you guys. The next bag is from Netherlands. It's called Smack from Amsterdam. They have been floating around my Instagram for a little bit, so I wanted to test them out just because they are priced incredibly well. The leather is beautiful. I actually purchased 2 in one go. There's another one that looks like the Row, kind of the 90s bag, I think it's called. It's in a olive green, and it's just a beautiful bag. The leather is pretty fantastic. However, again, I just have so many bags. I bought 2 of them, and this one I just never used. And what's really cool about this is that the strap actually goes on like this, kind of like a robot ears it reminds me of, but I thought the design is incredibly cool. Again, I just have so many bags. I just never use this one. Maybe I'll make an effort to use this one. The interior is beautiful. It's got one little slip pocket here, and it's just an open compartment. The opening is a little small. So my hand, again, I've got massive hands, totally a me problem. I just see myself like, it's gonna get caught. It's probably not the biggest deal, but because of that, I was just like, maybe I shouldn't use it. I'm gonna go for another bag instead. The next bag is also from W Concept. This one was also sent, I think these 3 were sent to me as PR all in one go. I do love this bag. However, I do have my Sevette. I don't need repeats in my collection. Normally, I would say I would go for leather bags all day, every day. My Sevette one is made of canvas, and I feel like that is different and special to my collection. So that's why I feel like I always gravitate towards that one, because it's a clutch, right? And it is canvas. I'm not trying to wear it as a very durable bag, whereas this one is very durable, and it's actually much more functional than the Sevette. I do like the Sevette buckle a little bit better, even though this one is much more convenient than the Sevette. This one is just a magnet, and it does come with a crossbody. So the East-West trend is so hot right now, and I hope it goes on forever, just because it looks like a compact bag, right? But then you can fit so much in here. It is kind of like a clown car. I've never used this one just because I feel like it's too repetitive in my collection. And if I want this style, this pochette style, I tend to just gravitate towards my Sevette. So this one also has been sitting there collecting dust. This next bag is a bowler bag, also from W Concept. And there's nothing wrong with this bag. I just don't go into an office for me to use this bag. I think this is a perfect bag for someone who needs a baby bag, or perhaps they want to throw their laptop in there, and the straps are incredibly long, so it's very convenient for you to wear during the winter time when you have a thick coat. However, again, I've never used this one. I have no need. I don't even really wear totes. For me, the medium-sized bag as well as the mini bags or smaller bags is what my usual go-to, because when I do leave the house, it's to run errands, it's to hang out with friends, go out to dinner, maybe a day trip to go to the farm, and I don't know what I do with my free time, but this is definitely not it. Going to work with this bowler bag is just not something I need in my life. And of course, this just confirms that I don't need this type of bag in my life anytime soon, unless I'm going back to the office again where I need to throw my lunch in here. But this confirms that I should not purchase a bag of this size or this particular style, which again is very secure. So if you're going on public transportation, fantastic one that you can, not have to worry about things falling out or anything. So, but yeah, this is just not something I need in my life, and that's why I've never used it. Moving on to the second category, where I've only used these bags once. Some of them I'm okay with because they're technically evening bags or more fancier bags. Others I'm just like, ooh, probably should make an effort in getting the cost per wear down. Starting with one of my favorite bags, and I went hunting for this bag for years. This is the Cartier guirlande bag, if I'm saying that French word correctly. Basically, it means garland. And if you recognize this print, it is the iconic Cartier box print that you get with all of your Cartier jewelry. If my memory serves me correctly, the first time I've ever seen this bag was not out in the wild. It was actually a product placement on the show Billions. So if you ever seen Wendy on that show, wore this bag for like a brief second, and I just like paused it and rewind it like 6 different times to see what bag that was. And I was like, oh my God, I never knew Cartier released this bag. I think they have since then discontinued it, which makes me sad. And in my opinion, this is so underrated. This is such a beautiful bag, especially for the people who love Cartier. How can you not have this in your collection? Now it does come, this is like the medium size, but it does come in the little one, I've only used this bag, I wanna say once during a Christmas party. Again, this is a very fancy bag. So I don't go to a whole lot of fancy events. Maybe that will change in the future, but as of right now, I've only used this once and I'm completely okay with it because this just looks beautiful in my closet. It's constructed beautifully. I did purchase this pre-loved, but it is still in beautiful condition. The next bag is from Oroton. I think this is called the Margot bag. I did a video where I covered a lot of the mid-range Australian brands, and Oroton was like the #1 that popped up. Apparently, it is a heritage brand in Australia, very similar to, I guess people compare it to Coach here in the States. People just, they love it. And there was a video where they talk about the history of Oroton and the rise and fall, kind of like Coach, right? The rise and fall over the years of how Oroton kind of made a comeback recently. And I want to test out their products, and this is actually fantastic. However, I've only used it once just because my brain is just like, bag, which one should I use today? Pick me, right? And then this one kind of just got, swept to a side. It is constructed beautifully. The interior is also beautiful, very convenient. It's also very secure. If you were to compare this to TPM or the Evelyn 16, I think this one obviously is much more secure with a zipper, and it's got an adjustable strap. So if you don't want to spend Hermes money, I think this is a fantastic alternative. And you can see the detail on the side, right? Like it's been kind of sewn together. The design up front just looks very elegant. So overall, I have no complaints. I don't know why I don't gravitate towards this bag at all, but if you are looking at Oroton, highly recommend. And if you want something that is very similar to Coach and that particular level, I think this is a fantastic one to look at as an alternative. The next bag is from Saint Laurent. And I feel like I have a lot more bags in the category of I've only used it once, which still is a problem. Beautiful bag. Saint Laurent's leather is just phenomenal. There's no complaints about it. This one is a shoulder bag, so I think I only wore it once because of the shoulder strap. It's just way too short for me. I'm not really into the whole armpit bag. The interior is large enough for you to fit just your essentials. This just gives me the impression that you need to be that girl, that very trendy girl where she's wearing a tiny little tank top, baggy jeans, maybe a cardigan like this over them. They're 90s, like very skinny oval sunglasses. Their hair is slick back, tied up in a claw clip or a bun. And just like super long nails. Those are all the things that I am not. And again, I don't know why I have that association, but when I think of this bag, and as much as I love how beautiful it is and the color of it, how the construction of it, the functionality or the non-functionality, I guess, I pick up this bag and that is the image I see, which again, it is the complete opposite of who I am. So that's why I don't gravitate towards this bag, and I probably have only used it once. But I love the back pocket. It's so convenient. Again, I have no complaints other than the strap is a little too short, and that's the vibe I get. And that's kind of why it has been sitting in my closet. I feel so bad. You're so pretty. I love you, but the next bag I've only used once. This was to a wedding, so only for a couple of hours. Got a couple photos with it. Is my Chanel double flap in the medium size caviar leather. This is by now a sentimental piece because this was my first Chanel. Yes, I went full blown from the store in Paris. My first time to Paris. That was before the whole Hermes craze, and they were so hard to get. I don't use this bag because it's a black bag. That was back in a day where I still was okay with black bags, and my friend was just like, oh, you should get a black bag. It fits with everything. And she's a black bag kind of girl, which I kind of liked it, but then I also haven't put my foot down, so to speak, where I know I love caramel, beiges, taupey colors, gray colors more than black. This is probably one of maybe 2 or 3 bags I have left in my collection that is a black color. However, I knew I wanted gold hardware. Yes, this is a lot of money to be sitting on the shelf as a sentimental piece, but maybe just like my first Louis Vuitton bag, I have to hold on to it for a couple more years before I decide that I need to let this go. But so far, I've only worn it once. And it's just kind of sitting there looking pretty. Let's get some color here. I've only used this bag once and taken it out to dinner. I definitely need to make a conscious effort to take out my Bulgari bag a little bit more because it is such a fun pop of color. It's kind of like a pinky coral color, and you've got the serpenti head with the double chain where you can double it up as a shoulder bag or crook of your arm bag, or lengthen it so that you can wear it as a long shoulder bag. It is not long enough for you to do a crossbody. And honestly, I think Bulgari bags are so underrated, beautifully constructed. And if it's any of the hardware on the bag, you know, as jewelers, because they are jewelers, they're a jewelry brand first, you know it's going to be beautifully constructed. The chain detail, to me, I feel like is way better than the Chanel one. Just feels much more substantial. And of course, you can see the interior, all of the details that come along with the hardware, because that's what they specialize in. Even the zipper pull on the inside has this little snake head or the serpenti head, just the details. Yes, I know this is more of a acquired taste, but to me, I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on Bulgari, and we should pay attention to their handbags a little bit more. So I've been to both Bulgari as well as Cartier, and if I were to compare these two major jewelry brands and their leather goods, their handbags, I can 100% say that Bulgari has better leather than Cartier. Not to say that their bags and leather aren't high quality, but if I were to choose based on the leather quality, I would say Bulgari has better. Now, I've only worn this once, so I can't speak to the wear and tear personally. I know one of you, or maybe a couple of you, have asked me to do an update on this particular bag and the wear and tear. Obviously none, because I've only wore it once. However, if you look on the pre-loved market, again, you have to take everything with a grain of salt with the used condition, because some people could be really hard on their bags. But the one thing you have to pay attention to is the serpenti head, how sometimes the malachite eyes on here, some of these plates could be missing. Honestly, I don't know how that happens unless you're just like banging the head of the serpenti against other things. I don't know how that could just go missing, which I'm sure if you take it back to a Bulgari place, they should be able to repair it or restore it. I'm not 100% sure on that. If you do know, drop us a comment down below. But overall, I think this is beautifully crafted and I don't see wear and tear. Maybe on the leather if you scratch it very hard on something incredibly sharp, but if you are careful with this bag and not use it as an everyday bag, because clearly this is more of a formal event, just like this one, a fancier bag that you take to dinner or whatever, I don't see this bag getting that much wear and tear moving forward. Next bag is from Leo et Violette, a Parisian brand that I picked up in Paris last year. This is Suede, and this is their shopper tote, I wanna say. As I did say before, I don't use totes very often, so that's why I've only used this once. Wear and tear has been obviously non-existent just because I've only used this once, but it is a beautiful bag. It smells amazing. I don't really have too much to say other than probably this winter, I will be using this a little bit more just so, because it's Suede, right? I do love Suede. And if I need to go anywhere with my laptop, this is probably the bag I will use. But I also don't see myself using this bag very often just because I'm not a tote girl to begin with, and I don't need to go into an office. If I do have to go into an office, then yeah, I would probably sport this bag much more often than I have done so. Home stretch here. Yes, it's another Chanel bag that I've only used once. This goes back to the same kind of comments as this bag, where it is a black bag and it's my beautiful, I think it's the jumbo. I always get confused if it's the jumbo or the maxi. They also have a jumbo XL. So the naming, you know, Chanel, they like to change up their sizing and their names like every other day. So who the hell knows, but it is the larger size. Beautiful condition. I only used this once, and this bag is from the 80s. They just don't make Chanel like they used to anymore. As much as I do love the caviar, and this one, it has zero issues. We know about the quality issues with Chanel, but in the 80s bag or 90s, like chef's kiss. I just don't use this bag. It's a pretty large bag. I used to have the Saint Laurent envelope bag in the large size. That I also used like maybe 3-4 times, and actually one of you bought it from me, and I hope she's living her best life, getting the cost per wear down, etc., etc. But this one is kind of in the same position where if it was a beige, if it was a caramel, if it's a more like non-black bag, I will probably be wearing it a lot more. It's got the 24 karat gold hardware. It comes as basically a full set. It even has a Mona Lisa pocket that's large enough for you to fit a phone. It just kind of sits there looking pretty. So we'll see what happens to her. Maybe it'll show up in the vlog sale, I don't know, but it's hard for you to find one in this kind of condition anymore, where it is still puffy because the vintage Chanel's tend to flatten out, whereas this one, you can see how puffy everything is still. So when I stumbled across this and purchased it, chef's kiss. However, I just don't use it. And the grand finale of the bag I've only used once is my Birkin 35 in the burgundy color. How beautiful is this? I don't know, it's such a big bag, and it's also a tote bag. I wanna be that boss bitch where I go to, you know, the Soho House or some hotel or go to work, work travel, and just sport this bag, but it's in such beautiful condition that I am scared to use this. And I normally am not scared to use and be super precious about my bags, but this one is in beautiful condition that I was just like, I do want to wear this to my work trips, but then like I'm always getting on little tiny ass planes where you got to put your bag underneath the seat, and especially older planes, they have more room underneath your seat, but then the handles are so like, it's so tall, I would have to go like this, and then I am afraid of getting it like nicked or whatever. Whereas the newer planes, they have so much equipment underneath the seats that you barely have any room to stand your bag upright. So I would have to probably bring one of those reusable bags, and there's reels about it. I know I would be that person if I brought this with. Maybe I'll give it a whirl and take it to like client meetings, but that would totally be a boss move. I hope you enjoyed that video, got some eye candy, and of course my girl logic of not wearing some of these bags. Some of these bags I've kept for so long and I've only worn them once. The cost per wear is atrocious, I understand. Some of these are going to show up on my panic sale, so stick around. That's gonna be coming up super soon. I'm gathering all of the logistics together. A lot of planning goes into that, but you will see some of these pop up in that panic sale. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Again, enter for the giveaway. Rules and everything will be in the description box down below, as well as the pinned comment section. I want to get this mailed out to one of you guys and clear out some of my closet, so that way I can make room to review more bags for you in the future. Life is hard. I want to help you save time and money so that you can somehow adult easier and hopefully less than retail. I'll see y'all next time.